What's going on, future docs in the building? It's your girl Kristyn, aka Chris on Meds, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, how you doing? It's good to have you. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so you do not miss your dose of medicine, mindfulness, and melanin. Now let's get into this video. So y'all, as we continue with this MCAT series, today we're going to talk about all the facts of the MCAT. What is it? What does it stand for? How long is it? How much is it? All that good stuff. So I'm not going to ramble. We're going to make this real quick. I got my notes here because you already know how I do. If you already know, we done got the notes. All right. So what is the MCAT? The MCAT stands for Medical College Admissions Test. This is the test you have to take in order to get into a medical school. You have to take it either right before you apply or right after you apply. It needs to be on the application regardless, so there's that. There are 4 sections to this test, and there are 230 multiple choice questions. There's no short answer, essay, none of that. You just click and go. Click and go, okay? It's approximately 7 hours, give or take. Total test time, I believe, is about 6.5 or 6 hours and 45 minutes, but you do have some breaks in there. You have a total of 3 breaks, a 15-minute break, a 30-minute break, and another 15-minute break. That's in between each section. So the 4 sections you're gonna take in this order for this test are Chemical and Physical Foundations of Biological Systems, Critical Analysis and Reasoning Skills, or CARS, Biological and Biochemical Foundations of Living Systems, and Psychological, Social, and Biological Foundations of Behavior. When I first read this, y'all, I said, what?
What?
What are you talking about? So, like, what subjects go with each section? Because it's a lot of biologic living critical.
Okay, what?
So for the first section, this is focusing on your chemistry, like general chemistry, your organic chemistry, physics, and math. A hint of bio, but not really. But those are like your 4 main subjects within this first section. Within the second section, this is all your English, critical thinking. That's it. It's just reading, comprehension, critical analysis, making inferences, things like that. And typically for, I guess you would call this type A, most medical students have a strong background in science and math and those things, and not so much of like the arts and English and all that. So I feel like that section is probably the hardest on average for all of us, but if you're strong in that area, kudos to you, because you don't have to work as hard, because it's hard. I feel like learning CARS and getting good at CARS is very hard compared to learning biology. Because if you get it, you just get it. And it's the facts. With CARS, you just gotta, that's beyond me. The third section, Biological and Biochemical Foundations of Living Systems. This is your biology, your biochemistry, a little bit of anatomy and physiology. If you did not take anatomy and physiology, do not stress, okay? It's whatever, if you get a book set or some type of book review, it's gonna cover it in the books. So it's definitely some anatomy and physiology in there, but I believe, and I did take it, which was very helpful for me. So if you can take those 2 classes beforehand, then it'll give you that extra boost. If you cannot, if it's impossible for your timeline, it's okay, don't stress it. And the last section, this is your psychology, sociology, a little bit of anatomy too, because we're heavily in, this is all of the brain. So you gotta know like your cerebellum, you gotta know your frontal lobe, Now, the MCAT scores. How is the MCAT scored? The scores range from a 472 to a 528, okay? Very small range, that's the total. Each section ranges from 118 to 132. So when you multiply that by 4, then you get the 472, the 528. The 50th percentile, which is about the average score for the MCAT, is 500. You typically get your score like 30 to 35 days after you take your test, so about a month. And some schools do require a minimum MCAT score. So for example, for Howard University, if you want to go to Howard, I believe you have to have a score of at least a 494. So it depends on the school. I believe a lot of schools don't have this. I think they're going away from that, especially with the requirements as far as like what classes you have to take as well. They just want to make sure you have a good foundation in all these science courses and things like that. So we're kind of shifting to more of like a holistic approach instead of this is what you have to have, check off each box, all that stuff. Now there's many resources you can use to prepare for the MCAT, and it can get kind of tedious and a little confusing because you don't want to pick all these resources and use them all because it's going to be so much harder to manage. You're going to be causing yourself more stress when you're studying for the MCAT, and studying for the MCAT is already stressful, so you want to limit that amount of stress as much as possible. So I'm going to go over like the most of the courses or the study resources that you can use, and then it'll be up to you to determine which ones would work best for you. So there are like 3 major MCAT courses. You have the Kaplan, you have Princeton Review, and you have Next Step. And these are, they could either be in person or online. So for Kaplan, there's an online one and an in-person. Now I believe the online is like live, so you have to sit down at a certain time at your computer and make sure you catch the lecture or whatever. I'm not sure if it's recorded and then you can go back to it later. I didn't use any of these courses, I just studied by myself. The Princeton Review, they have a 6-week intensive course. Now these courses are very expensive. Like Kaplan's is about $1,800. Princeton is about $1,500. And then for Next Step, it's $1,600, and I believe it's a self-paced course. Now there are other resources that are either free or also have a fee. The one I recommend the most are the AAMC official prep products because these are the people making the test. So why not get materials from the ones that make the questions?
Oh my God! Wow!
The questions from the practice banks and the practice questions are gonna mimic the test more than the others. You also have Kaplan materials. There's like subject books, practice exams, practice packs, things like that. Princeton Review, also self-paced, has a nice set of books. You have Next Step, Exam Crackers, and Khan Academy. Khan Academy is free, so make sure you get on that. If you're like a visual person, if you like watching videos. Every year, the AAMC gives a list of all the test dates for that year. Now, the test is not offered every month of the year. When you pick your test dates, there are 3 like time zones that you have to consider. There's a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So each of these zones give you dates as to when you can get a full refund. Like if you decide that you don't want to take your test, you want to cancel it, how far in advance do you have to cancel it for you to get your full refund? Or how far in advance do you have to cancel to get a partial refund? Or when is it too late and you can't get a refund at all? So those gold, silver, and bronze zones tell you those dates for those times. So that's it for this video. I hope this helped. Please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed and you made it to the end of this video, you might as well subscribe because clearly you learned something. So I'll see you in the next video.